sure lots of us are familiar with the crisis of dogs and cats that end up at the pound, but are you aware of what happens to horses whenever their owners don't want them anymore? About 80% of the horses that end up at kill pens originally had loving homes. 70% of those were broke to ride or able to carry a rider or had a job previously. And 50% of those ones had issues that nobody took the time to resolve and fix. The point of this speech today is to communicate the importance of solid training for your horse from the very beginning and how this can set them up for success for the duration of their life, whether they stay with you forever or if you choose to rehome them in the future. I have a story about my own personal horse named Koa, who came from one of these kill pens. She came from Texas. I knew nothing about her other than what she looked like and her age. Whenever I got her home, I had quickly learned that she had some serious issues going on within her and in her spine. She was in a lot of pain, and because of that, she was more than likely bucking off and tossing her riders, thus ending her up at a slaughter-bound kill pen. So what I've learned from owning my horse is it is so important to spend time in a round pen, in the saddle, and outside of the arena in the real world with your horse to gain confidence and to help them to become exposed to things around them. The importance of a round pen helps to gain trust between a horse and their rider or their handler. Horses naturally are prey animals, so they're constantly watching out for things that may attack them or bring danger to them. So in a round pen, typically it's a 12 to 16 foot round enclosed area where you can work with the horse with a whip like this one to encourage them to move off of your cue. It's important that horses respond anytime you ask for something. So if I ask my horse like this to move forward, my horse should respond. Things like these or a bit like this is called a training aid. And so what happens in a round pen is you introduce these training aids early on so your horse becomes familiar with them and understands the cues that come with those. After you spent time on the ground with them, asking them to bend their head, flex their neck, move their hindquarters, and walk forward, back, and laterally, they should understand that this transfers once they have a rider on their back. Now the importance of the round pen is detrimental, I believe, in riding, and it's so evident to see when a horse has some loopholes in their riding. Typically you want to get back on the ground. So in the saddle, typically you're riding in an arena or in a round pen, and all the things you have taught on the ground should transfer into the saddle. So if I'm riding and I ask my horse to move over, yielding its hindquarters with my right leg, I should add pressure and my horse should move. And if it doesn't know how to do this, again, it's good to go back a step and do this on the ground. But once your horse is making progress, and you can see that with how they're responding, you can build on your training, and instead of asking for them just to move to the side, maybe they can spin, maybe they can lift up their shoulder. It's all really cool what you can do with a horse, and with lots of time and patience, which is the most important part of training. Lastly, your time outside of the arena is so important. Just like a child, if they're not exposed to the world, they'll have massive culture shock whenever they do see things happen. So it's important to take your horse out of the arena, take them to a show, take them to a park, ride them around and expose them to things that might be scary. This will help them in the long run. Stuff can happen in our lives where we have to maybe make a sad decision to sell a horse, and it's our best option to prepare them for their future, just like with people. So in conclusion, it is so important to spend time in a round pen, in the saddle, and beyond, outside, on the trails, at shows, etc., to help build them into a correct and a safe animal that is useful to you and to whomever may come into their life next. The most important thing when it comes to horse training is the time that you put into them and your patience. I'm so grateful for my horse that came from a kill pen. Hopefully she'll be with me for the rest of my life, but I know because of her training and the time that I've poured into her that wherever she goes next, she will take care of her rider, and she will be a safe place versus a liability and a danger to those around her. Thank you.